What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So I'm going to actually be covering a topic that actually Jarhead6, he showed up in one of my live chats. He shows up in a couple of my live chats. And he asked me my opinion on it. So I figured, what the heck? I'm going to talk about press checks and what I think of them. So let's get into it. Honestly, guys, I'm a big fan of press checks. I really am, to an extent. I'm a fan of press checks. If you're like me, you carry your gun from the moment you wake up. You put your clothes on, you carry your gun. You don't take it off till you go to bed. That's the way how I carry my guns on a daily basis. I always do press checks, but I don't do it nonstop all day long. For me, a press check is something that you do when you're getting your gun onto your body. You're getting ready to go for the day. You're getting ready to go in your concealed carry, whichever gun you're choosing. I like to do press checks. Now, I'm going to do a couple demonstrations of press checks and the right ways to do it and stuff like that. So there's a couple different versions of it. So I'll use two guns here and I'll show you both of them are loaded. But I want to do this demonstration, so I'll point us in a safe direction. Now, the way I do my press check is I reach up here like this. All right, I just reach up in here. I don't put my hands in front of the muzzle. I reach up here. I turn my gun sideways so I can actually see the breech, and I push it back like that, and that allows me to press check and see if there is a round in the chamber. Another method you could use is the under method. This works better with front serrations, but it can work like this. You pinch it like this. Same thing, you pull it, you push it back, and I think your fingers slide too much on these guns when you do it. That's why I like doing this, because you get a little bit more pinch, a little bit more leverage with this. Your fingers slide too much on it. The other method that some people say is that you come like this and you pull it back. I don't even know, I can never do it. Like, I've tried it different ways, or you do it like this. You put your thumb under here, all right, under here. If you have beaver tail, this is a grip force adapter. You grab the front sights and do it like that. You can do that if you want. Me personally, it's just out of habit. I just come up like this, wrap it, and pull it back. Now that's for a striker fired gun. It doesn't work the same for a hammer fired gun. Like right here is my SIG, and this thing goes to the same thing for 1911s, because if you reach over the top, it's a little bit more of a struggle to get back. The best way to do a press check on a gun like this is to cock the hammer, finger off the trigger, and then do your press check, and then you decock it. Like I said, if you saw that, you cock it, do the press check, very easy, loaded, decock it. Same thing goes with the 1911. That's why how I do it with the 1911 as well, is I drop the safeties, make sure the hammer's back, and then I do a press check. So those are the methods of doing press check. But the only time I ever really do press checks is in the morning when I'm getting ready for the day. Right here, this is my gun safe, for example. Most of my videos I do in my gun safe. So what I do, when I get ready in the morning, I pull out my gun, I make sure it's loaded, I put it on my hip. All right, how I'm going to be carrying whichever pistol I'll be choosing for that day. I open it, pull it out of my safe, check it, make sure it's ready to go. That's the extent of my press check. Now, there's one thing that I complain about when I see it with press checks all the time, and that is, we are unloaded here now, is some people get into the habit of doing press checks is for every single thing that they do. If you see right there, even there, I cleared it and I did a press check, make sure it's closed. Before I do dry fire practice, I'll do a press check, make sure it's closed. But one thing that I see people doing is they get into too much of a habit of it, to the point where every single time they load, even if they fully loaded it, we're keeping this loaded here. So even if we fully loaded it, however the method they do it, after they load it, then they press check, all right? And they get into such a habit of doing that nonstop that every single time they make a reload, that they start press checking every single time. So they make a reload, press check, and shoot. And it actually starts, when you develop muscle memory of doing stuff over and over again, it becomes a problem. And I've seen people do that, is that they shoot, they unload, load, press check, and then get back in the fight. It's like, okay, if you just loaded a magazine and you rack the slide back to the rear, it's loaded. You don't need to do a press check. You know what function, you know what condition your firearm is in. The only time I advocate for press checks is when you're getting your gun on your body for the day. The reason I say, you dry fire practice, getting ready to dry fire practice, check, make sure the chamber is fully cleared, unless you have like a laser light. It looks like a pistol, it looks like a bullet in there, but it's not. You can tell the difference. But any other time, I just don't see, I don't see a point of it. Now, when I teach classes, do I do press checks? Yeah, I do press checks. I'll be doing a class, be talking about a gun. I'm going to do a demonstration, so I do a press check, make sure it's fully cleared, because in a classroom, I want to make sure my firearms are completely cleared while I'm doing a check. I go into a classroom, I clear my firearm. Every single time I pull out my holster just for the classroom, I do a press check just to make sure it is cleared. Most of the time, I actually do the full lock it back to the rear, look at the chamber and check the mag, because I'm trying to teach that and drill that into my student's head. But When I do simple demonstrations, I pull it out, do a press check, and then I get it back and do the demonstrations to make sure it's fully clear. But like I said, is what I do is when I get back from my classes, I actually have a lot. I usually bring my different pistols to class. I don't have a ton of pistols, guys. I don't have a ton of guns. I'm not a gun collector. I have guns that work for me. So I'll bring my pistols to class and I'll do demonstrations in different pistols. And then I bring it home and I want to clean them after class. Some of my students, they have they'll clean them a little bit too after we shot them. But I still like to do a thorough cleaning of mine. Now what I do is I always put it in my safe when I'm done cleaning it. So every single morning, especially after the weekends, when I wake up, I want to make sure all my guns are loaded and ready to go. When it comes to my pistols, they're loaded and they're ready to go. So I always do press checks. It's up to you if you want to do press checks. I recommend them. You need to know the status of the gun that you're in. You need to know the status of the gun. Now, another thing too, you don't have to do the full press check. All right, you don't have to do the full press check. If you have light, this works in the daylight. Is instead of doing press check, I simply look like this. And I'm just looking in there, and you can see the shell. I don't know if we can show it on the camera, but if you look in there, you can see a little bit up in there. You can see the brass is in there, so you don't necessarily need to do it. It's better for like nighttime, although with a Glock, all you gotta do is actually feel the eject, right here, you feel the extractor. It actually sticks out a little bit when around in there. But at night, it's easy, you do that, you can test it, make sure we're good to go. You can pull it back, make sure something's in there. But like I said, it's up to you if you don't want to do press checks more than you want to do. I don't recommend getting into a habit of you're doing a press check every single time you load your gun, because you train as you fight. So if you do that in training, then when you're actually shooting, you reload, you're gonna do a press check before you have to re-engage the target, and that might be a problem. Is it common? Probably not. It's probably not a common thing. I just recommend don't doing that. Just don't do it too much. But if your gun is going to go on your body every single time you're putting a gun on your body, you need to know the status of that firearm. It doesn't matter if you've been carrying it for a week straight. Every single morning when you're about to put it on your hip, do a press check, make sure you're ready to go, because in the last case, worst scenario, like maybe you were cleaning it or you're doing a little bit of training, dry fire practice, you forgot to rack it around in the chamber. If you have to draw your gun in a hurry in a defensive situation, you have seconds to respond. You want to make sure when you put the gun in, you squeeze the trigger, it's going to go bang instead of a click. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about me, and remember, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.